Hi there, this is your English teacher, and today's lesson is about hidden meanings. We're going to talk about some very common idioms that have metaphorical roots that you may not be familiar with. And that will help you understand the true meaning and deeper nuance when you hear them or use them in conversation. So let's get started. Now, the first idiom is bite the bullet. To bite the bullet. So to bite the bullet. To bite the bullet. It comes from the expression to bite a bullet during surgery before anesthesia was invented, or even if it was invented, let's say like 20 years ago people used to have surgeries, and they would have to bite down on a bullet to help them cope with the pain. Now, when you face a difficult situation bravely, we say, you bit the bullet. For example, getting a job done on time, even though you really didn't want to do it. You could say, I finally finished the project. I bit the bullet and just did it. Or maybe you had to go to the dentist, and even though you were afraid, you were brave and didn't complain. You bit the bullet. Another one is throw in the towel. Throw in the towel, throw in the towel. Okay, so this one is also pretty easy to remember, because we have something similar in Spanish. The expression is tira la toalla, right? Tira to throw, and la toalla, the towel. So you can remember, throw in the towel. When you throw in the towel, you surrender, you give up. In these situations, you are ignoring the elephant in the room. You're avoiding the most obvious thing in the situation. We use this expression to talk about a negative issue that we all aware of but we pretending doesn't exist. For example, if you're working on a team project and one team member isn't pulling their weight, you could say, I know he's not doing his part, but I don't want to be the one to talk to him about it. I don't want to be the one to point out the elephant in the room. Okay. Now I am going to give you some more examples of this expression so you can see how it's used in different situations. For example, imagine you having dinner with your family and you have unseen each other in a while, and everyone's catching up. Your sister mentions that she's thinking about getting a divorce, and then there's a long pause. No one says anything. Everyone's thinking about it, but no one wants to be the one to bring it up. Finally, your mother breaks the silence and says, well, I guess that's the elephant in the room, isn't it? Another example. Let's say you giving a presentation at work and you've been working on it for weeks. You practice your speech over and over again. You make sure that all of your slides are in order. But on the day of the presentation, You get stage fright, and you completely forget what you were supposed to say. You're standing there in front of your audience, and you're trying to remember anything. And after the presentation, your boss pulls you aside and says, "What happened? Why were you so unprepared?" You could reply, "I don't know. I guess I was intimidated by the size of the audience. It was definitely the elephant in the room." And by the way, if you're enjoying this lesson, please give it a thumbs up. Really helps my channel and motivates me to create more content for you. Thanks. Alright, now I'd like you to think of as many elephant in the room situations as you can. Here's another example that I'll use for you to get your mind going. Let us say you invite a friend over for dinner, and when they arrive, your house is a mess, and you have UN cleaned. You pretend like everything's fine, and you don't mention it, but your friend says, "Wow, it looks like you've been through a tornado here. What happened?" And you say, "Yeah, well, I guess that's the elephant in the room, isn't it?" Okay, so think of some situations where you've been in this situation, or maybe you've heard other people in this situation, and write them down in the comments below. I can't wait to read them. Now, let's talk about another idiom, and that is, break someone's heart. Break someone's heart. Okay, so this one has a pretty obvious literal meaning. If you break something, that thing is broken. Right, you can break a vase. You can break a chair. You can break your leg. Right. For example, let's say you're in love with someone, but they don't love you back. This can cause you great emotional pain. You could say, "I broke my own heart by trying to make her fall in love with me." And speaking of breaking your heart, I have some sad news. This is probably not the kind of news you want to hear, but I need to tell you anyway. This channel is going away for a while. Yes, I'm taking a break from creating videos for a few months. I needed to do this because I've been feeling very burned out lately. You know, creating these videos takes a lot of time and energy, but I've always enjoyed it. However, last year things got a little crazy. My video production went from okay to insane. I was working on dozens of videos every week, and it just became too much for me. I needed to take some time for myself. I needed to recharge my batteries, and that's why I'm taking a break. But don't worry, I'll be back. I promise. And when I return, I'm going to be more focused than ever. Now, I've made hundreds of videos over the past few years, but I'm super proud of all of them. I put a lot of time and effort into every single one. If you want to keep learning English with me, you can check out my online school. We offer small group classes and private tutoring sessions. Our teachers are all native speakers, and we offer a variety of different classes. You can improve your listening skills, your speaking skills, your vocabulary, grammar, and more.